welcome to video number 6 of Spiritual Topic Tuesdays. Today we have an amazing group ready to take today's topic of what is your life purpose and break it down and give their perspectives. This is a place where everyone's perspective is encouraged and valued and has a voice, creating a space for everyone. Take what resonates with you and throw the rest away. Now, before we jump in, remember that at the end of the video will be everyone's contact info. So if someone resonates with you, you have the ability to reach out. Now let's have everyone introduce themselves and give an idea of their spiritual path. So Greg, would you like to start off, introduce yourself and your spiritual path?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Greg Ford. I hail from Lilydale, but live in Florida and lived in San Francisco and lived in Arizona and lived in Colorado and lived in everywhere. So that's kind of my spiritual journey, because living in different places has given me different perspectives on life and people and culture. So
awesome. Vince?
I'm Vince Bardo. I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I believe my path is to help people as a healer. And I gravitate to helping my neighborhood out here, all the elderly people who need help. I'm drawn to that. I think that's part of the healer aspect. I'm still developing my mediumship.
Nice.
About it. It's a shortened version.
We'll take it. Sarah.
Okay. I'm a medium and a psychic, and I guess the whole thing was that when I discovered it, I was saying, well, what am I going to do with it? And as I had already gotten my Reiki and everything, and I just discovered as I went on this journey that it was pretty much about making the world a better place, one person at a time. And that's pretty much it. I live in Pittsburgh, and now that we're sort of over the top of the mountain of the pandemic, I do look forward to traveling again. So that's it, I guess.
Woohoo. Angela.
Hi, I'm Angela Maria Herrera. I am originally from Colombia, and I moved to the States a few years back. I am in South Florida, and I am a Reiki master, a crystal healer, and looking for answers. I kind of went into a lot of modalities, and I found my niche in crystals and shamanic practitioning. So one of the services that I offer as well is in the topic that we are delving in today. I analyze soul plans, so this is really neat.
Fabulous. My name is Randy Sands. I'll give you my condensed version. I am a psychic / medium. I do animal communication. I work with tarot. And I am currently at the Fort Lauderdale house, but we also have a house in the Smokies, which I'll be going to tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to that. So now we'll move on to our topic. So Greg is first, then Vince, then Sarah, then Angela. And of course, I'll go last. So Greg, the topic is, what is our life purpose? And do we really need to know exactly what it is? What are your thoughts?
well, I've been actually thinking about this very recently, about my purpose. And I think sometimes people are born into a purpose through family history and things like that, you could say, but I think it's very individual, and I think we choose our purpose to a very large extent. I chose music, I guess. I don't know. You know, when I look back, I started playing music when I was 10. I played the guitar when I was 10, and I've been a professional musician really my whole life. I don't know if I've chosen or if it was given to me. So the purpose, And now, now that I'm sort of retired, I'm trying to find another purpose. And it's very difficult because, well, it's very difficult. I don't know, I'm not saying because. One thing I have been thinking about, I think service to humanity is what I'm finding is most important to me right now. I'm thinking, you know, that if you can be of service to somebody, it gives you purpose. And sometimes you have to create your purpose individually. But like I said, I think sometimes you're born into, I don't know if I'd call it a purpose, but you know, you're born into something. No, but I think you choose a purpose for the most part, and can, or you have the ability to. I'll stop with that.
Vince?
Yeah, that's something I've been wondering about for my whole life. I'm sure everybody has. What is our life purpose? Why are we here? Yeah, I too like helping people who need it, and it gives me a good feeling that I'm able to do that. Boy, that's a tough question. I think our life purpose keeps changing. I don't think we're so much defined as, you know, down the straight path. I think we're branching out different times in our life. It definitely changes. That's a tough question, but I just like helping people.
We don't like the easy questions.
No, that's good. It makes you think and makes us realize that we have to understand ourselves so we can grow. I love animals and the energy they give. I try giving it back. It's just, it's all life. Everything is energy. Next.
Your turn, Sarah. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are after, trying a number of things throughout my life, and the mediumship was pretty much right underneath my nose, and I didn't realize it, for quite a while. So that in itself gave me a purpose in developing it, and then the other person of using it for some good for people that need it. And while I think it's nice, I don't have a problem with people making a living and that sort of thing, but I think we should lose sight. And if some people become famous, so be it. But if that takes up too much of your energy, it kind of takes away from the purpose of why I finally discovered that. So it's I agree though that it does, your purpose will change from time to time, even doing the same thing. I mean, sometimes the purpose might be helping somebody heal. Sometimes it'll be cheering somebody up, because a lot of times it isn't all, very sad and gloom and doom. And a lot of times this comes out when, I bring through someone, a loved one, for the sitter, who is a very funny person, and it brings back some great fun memories. And that person, you don't have to have the clients crying all the time. Sometimes it's nice when they laugh, and the whole healing thing of it. So I think purposes change from it's a continuous growing thing, and maybe our purpose is just to grow and see what comes next. So that's about it for me.
Okay. Angela?
Well, I actually think that it's a little bit more than that. I think that in the big plan for our soul, the life's purpose is like a compendium of learning and experiencing and then growing and making the world special with your own touch. I think we each have a responsibility that we decided to take on before we were born, and we had that connection with divinity, and that is a personal spiritual journey that is just made specifically for each one of us. And it's like we are putting a little piece of glass on this huge mosaic that we are building. That's what I believe. And we, working as life workers, I think we are kind of a little bit of superheroes in this scheme of things. We are trying to help the others that are a little bit lost, and we are guiding them and healing them and spreading the good vibes for those that don't have that path. And then there are also some other souls that are here to learn other lessons, maybe going to deep shadow work, into different kind of experiences to grow. But at the end of the day, I believe there is a life purpose for everybody.
Okay. So I guess that brings us to my perspective. So my perspective is that we all have a contract or an agreed upon life purpose before we're born, and that we live out that contract, but with a lot of free will. And for me, I think it's a lot like the old saying, there's 1,000 roads that all lead to the same place. But our free will can create all kinds of turns and bumps and twists in that road. I feel like I guess I feel like we're not necessarily supposed to know our exact life's purpose. Um, I feel it's more like an unfolding as we go along. I think that if we all knew our life's purpose, that could be weird. Like, what would that really look like? Would we learn the lessons we're supposed to learn along the way? Or would we want to take the most direct route, kind of focusing on the finish line? And if we did that, what kind of chaos could or would that create? Um, if we knew our exact life purpose. I feel like the universe and our guides unfold more information as we hike the path of our journey. Um, Kind of like, when you're out hiking, you might find that gorgeous hidden waterfall or a windy path full of rocks to navigate. And that's, according to the choices we make. It's just my belief that we're not necessarily supposed to know. Perhaps it's supposed to be like that surprise in the Cracker Jack box, and with each surprise and each Cracker Jack box, the universe and our guides unveil a little more, like another clue that brings us a whole new host of free will choices to explore and learn new lessons in the next chapter of the book of our life purpose, for each individual. So I would agree based on that yes, I do think in a way it keeps changing. I don't think our life purpose necessarily changes. I think that we're given more information that takes us from here to here. And then when we're here, we'll get information to take us here. So to me, I think it seems like it's changing. It may not be changing. It might be just we're working our way along our way. If that makes any sense. Greg, anything you want to touch on again?
Well, there was something Sarah said about the money that I thought was important, because I think that some people lose focus on the giving part. I'm not saying everything should be free, but if you want to become a star and, you know, have your own TV and show, you really have to give up a lot. In my experience, you have to give up a lot of personal feelings and values. That's just in a large way. I'm not saying it's exactly like that, but and the other thing, I think people want to feel like they have a purpose. I played guitar professionally for 40 years, and I never thought about a purpose. It always felt like I had one. And now I've been retired about a year. And now I feel like I don't know what my purpose is. And I've been thinking about it. I think it's when you give of yourself to make the world a better place, it helps you feel like you have a purpose. And I think it's important to feel like you have a purpose.
Okay. Vince?
I'd have to agree with Greg. You have to feel like you have a purpose. Like you mentioned, Randy, you can't be focused down one path. We're always given opportunities coming in. You don't have to stick with one. You have more broad range, and you just have to be true to yourself. That's about it.
Okay, Sarah.
I was also thinking that just occurred to me, it's kind of a collective thing, because I remember, God, could it be 12 years ago, when we were all anticipating the big shift of consciousness from the 2012 and in December, that sort of thing. The local astrologer in my area, Rick DiClemente, said that the one thing that was happening was that people were getting together, like light workers were getting together and doing healing ceremonies and that sort of things. And it does change the energy, but I was also thinking it was probably a little bit prophetic, because I remember when we went into lockdown and everybody, you know, people just didn't know what was going to happen with this mysterious virus. And there were people I knew who were dying and everything. But the one thing that kind of held it together were the metaphysical groups online. And I was with a Tuesday afternoon meditation group with my friend Jason, who lives in Germany. And he had people from all over the world who we did a healing meditation. And there were some other people that did that. And, you know, it just doesn't magically take the virus away, but it really, in a big way, sent a vibration to help us at least cope with it. And you know, and as time has gone on, slowly but surely, things have gotten a little bit better. And I also believe that in our country and in the world with the various conflicts, you know, we are going through some things, but I also feel this Aquarian age of a lot of people online are now, they're getting together in purpose to do these meditations for healing and that sort of thing. And it isn't like a magic wand, but it gives people a purpose. And maybe out of the meditation, people go out there and they make a difference in the smallest way that they can. So I'm starting to see this as the kind of like the age of Aquarius. You know, people getting together and changing and trying to change the world, or at least some sort of consciousness, and to make sense out of the insanity that's going on. So that's
Angela.
Yes, well, what you said is really valid, Randy. I think that before we are born, is my belief that we connect with the big architect. I think we connect with creator, divinity, God, whatever you want to call that energy. And then we are given a path or a plan. And then after we're born, we get to decide what we want to do. And then we have choices, and we just go through life, and we can either reach the end and then start over, or we can try to find out why we're here and make our life special for us and for others. It's like we choose our own adventure. I think that if we discover who we really are, it kind of gives us a little bit more meaning, and it also is freeing, and maybe we can avoid sadness or, I don't know, difficulties, and we learn to talk to that divinity because we are following the plan of that architect. And if we get to unlock a little bit of that and use, some people are really, really lost and they can use the guidance. So if we can get a little bit of that guidance, like a little bit of the road plan, then I think you can speed up your growth, and then activate your abilities, and maybe overcome challenges or attain your goals faster, because that roadmap to me is an easier way to a more meaningful life.
Okay. I don't know that I would personally agree that people are lost as much as they're on their life journey. And, that it might be their journey at that moment, in time. But, that's the beauty of having different perspectives, it's amazing. I do feel like we should feel like we have a life purpose. I just don't know that I think we should be so tied into what exactly is it. Because I think that, like I said, we go from point A to point B when we're ready. And I feel like we go from point B to point C when we're ready. And that the universe and our guides are always there helping us, to learn what we need to learn to go from here to here. And yes, it's going to change because we went from here to here. I do believe that helping others is vital, no matter who we are or what we are. We're all put here for a reason, and everybody on this earth is my sister or my brother.
Yes.
And helping them along the way, I feel is my duty in a sense. I do agree with Sarah on the money thing. I'm not going to criticize other people because everybody is on their own journey again, and they have to do what works for them. I know as a psychic medium, I try to keep my prices reasonable. I want to be there for the mother that works at Taco Bell that lost her child, that's having a hard time moving forward. And, she may not be able to afford $500, $800 for a reading. But that's my thing. I'm not saying that should be somebody else's thing. To me, money's, making a living, yes, but to me, money's not the biggest end goal. And I believe that staying focused on spreading love and bringing us together. In all my years, I've never seen so much division as I've seen now. And I think that the only way to change that is by spreading love everywhere we can, any way we can, to try to bring unity back. But that's just my feelings. Greg, is there anything more that came up that you'd like to talk about?
Well, as far as the purpose part, I did think of something, but the older I get, it only lasts like 10 seconds and I'm on to something else. But I think it's important because right now, I'm looking for my purpose again. I don't know if I'm saying again, because when I was playing, I just never thought about it. But now I feel if I don't do something, I see a lot of people that say, oh, I like being at home. I like being alone because that's where I'm at peace. I feel selfish if I don't do something. if I just do it for myself, like I can sit here and play guitar all day and take pictures and oh, it's fun. And I post nice pictures and videos and, you know, I can go out in my garden and everything, but it's not fulfilling when it's only for me. It feels like I don't have a purpose because I don't want my purpose to be just for me. And that's where I feel selfish. So I'm looking for a way to, maybe the music is still in me, obviously, I guess. And I'm looking for maybe a different avenue with the music to give back. But those are a couple of things that I thought about.
Yeah, I'm with you on the thoughts flying. I'm like a squirrel in traffic. Woo! There goes something green shiny. So I have to write everything down. Woo! There goes something green and shiny again. Vince?
Yeah, just over a year ago, I got into collecting rocks, yeah, from Lake Erie.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you probably saw some of my posts, and so I got into polishing rocks, and right now I've got 4 tumblers going. They go nonstop. I've got over 1,000 polished rocks,
Wow.
and it's addicting. Is it my life purpose? What am I going to do with these? I've got cases all divided up, type of rocks, and I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm not talented enough to make jewelry. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I haven't tried. I'm just sharing pictures on Facebook. I belong to a couple clubs in Facebook. Get a lot of likes and whoa, yeah. But where am I going with that? So that's where I'm at. That's the path I'm on right now. Will it shoot off somewhere else? Hopefully. That's growth.
I will.
That's it.
Sarah, anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to, since with the topic has been touched upon, I think that even as light workers, it's good to have some financial goals. I mean, it's partly a business thing, but also to put it in perspective. And I certainly do agree that there have been times when I have dropped my prices so that someone in the not nice neighborhood can come to see me, that sort of thing. But I was before I started my reading today, I was talking to a client who said that she mentioned a medium, and I said, "Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's got a lot. He's very, very good." And he's had a TV show and everything. So, but he's got a lot of issues. He's kind of messed up, but but in a kind of a compassionate way because he's kind of a damaged person. But she went on to tell me that there's a group of people that she knows who has him like once a year to come in and do to her house and do some readings. And I said, let me guess, he's charging like $500. And she said, yes. And my whole reaction to that is I don't care who they are and how many TV shows they've had or whatever. I said, there is no way I would ever pay that amount of money to get a reading. And that I said, and I know plenty of people, plenty of mediums out there who are every bit as good as this one and the others that you see on TV, but they're not famous, so they charge a reasonable amount. So the thing is that you do want to make the money, but you also have to say, I don't want to be putting myself so much up there that I can't take care of the people that really need to see me. And that, to me, that brings me back to, well, that kind of messes up the purpose in helping people. It's not, you're not going to just help the wealthy people or someone that maybe can't afford the $500 and needs to spend it on, other things. So I think the thing is there's a purpose in finding a balance of, of how you deal with the material world. And also, you know, getting back to the whole thing of, you know, seeing someone who you know that who may have some issues that could be kind of clouding them a little bit spiritually, as you know, as opposed to going to someone maybe a little less experienced who you know, but they've really gotten their act together psychologically and spiritually, that might just leave a better you know, a better experience with you. So it's kind of complex. So there is the purpose of finding the balance. That's the whole thing.
Angela?
Yes, I agree with you guys. Some people are just charging ridiculous amounts of money. But there has to be an energy exchange no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has to happen, because I learned the hard way that I needed to charge. Otherwise, a lot of those lessons that did not belong to me, I ended up carrying them. So I know now from experience that there needs to be an energy exchange. It just doesn't have to be a crazy amount. And I think that if we have an opportunity to reveal some insight into what we are meant to be doing, I think we can take advantage of that. And yeah, maybe it's not so much that people are lost, but maybe some people also need validation on what they are doing, because since we are shifting consciousness, a lot of people who at one point were called wacky or crazy, or they didn't know what they were doing or what they were hearing or what they were going through, with us they can find validation knowing what they are supposed to be doing.
Okay. Sarah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I say all the time, I do not want to be famous. First of all, I want to be able to go out to dinner with my wife and be like a normal person, and not having a bunch of people, you know, rushing up because I'm there. But secondly, it's just not this kind of life I want to live. I understand some people charge the rates they do because, you know, some of them have big overheads, you know, to cover. When you're up on that level, your overheads get crazy. But what are you giving back? Like, I know for a fact Lisa Williams gives back. I witnessed one time, I was facilitating one of her classes, and there was a gal that wanted to stay for the next class, and everybody was pushing her to it, but she couldn't afford it. And I watched Lisa tell her to go to the office in Lilydale and tell them that Lisa was forfeiting her cut, and the rest of the class got together and chipped in so that she could stay. And I know Lisa's done other things, you know, for Lilydale along the way. It's just a matter of, you know, in my mind, what are they doing to give back to? I understand when you've got a big nut to crack each month. And that's why I don't want it, because I want to be for the small guy, you know. And I just feel that's my life purpose. Like, I could see myself living somewhere, you know, even in a hut, if I was able to help all kinds of people through my, you know, my mediumship and be happy. But that's not for everybody. That's not everybody's life purpose. That's probably all that I have to say on it. So unless anybody else has anything to say, I guess we can close down.
Can I throw in one more thing about Lisa? When people would come during the summer in Lilydale, she lives right next door to me. People would come up on her porch all the time with a book and right into her personal space. And she would always have a smile. She would always come out and hug the person, always sign the book. And I've seen her do it more than a couple dozen times.
As well.
And so I just wanted to put that in there because she is, yeah, she's sweet.
Yeah, she definitely has a caring heart. But I'm sure there's others that do too. It's just we just know that she does because we've been around her. I'm sure there's others that do as well. Anything
Well,
else, Vince?
I could give you an example of that. She's no longer a registered medium, but there's a excellent medium, Ann Gaiman, who I think a number of years ago, she was charging $300, but I think it's funny because I think there's sometimes a reason. I think she did it so she wouldn't be, doing it from 10 in the morning till 8 at night. So it kind of cut the number of readings down. And I heard a story once where there was a very distraught teenage girl who had a reading, and I guess Anne went up to her, and the young lady said, "Oh, I'd love to get a reading from you, but I can't afford like $300 or whatever it was." And Anne said to her, "Well, what have you got?" She said, 75. She said, "Come up to my porch." So I know people do that, and sometimes they may be charging for reasons like, I don't want to be doing this all day, but they're also the kinds of people who, if somebody is in need, they'll either cut the rates or they'll do something very generous. And that was one of the nicest stories I ever heard at Lilydale, actually.
There was another one real quick, is that I would encounter somebody out at night and they looking for a medium at night. And there was a couple, Jim Barnum would say, call me, and I would call Jim Barnum and I'd say, hey, it's night, or I had a couple other people that would help a person at night if they really needed to see somebody and they just didn't have the time. They were there and everybody was closed. And I remember that.
Oh, he was I really liked him.
What a good guy.
Really nice guy. I got a couple readings from him. Really good and very sweet.
You see, some of us are just nice.
Yeah.
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 Vince, did you have anything else, honey?
No, I said enough. I'm very shy.
All right. With that, I think that we will close for the night. Guys, hang out with me if you would for a minute afterwards. I thank you guys. It's an honor and a privilege that you guys spend your time with us. Again, contact info will be at the end. If there's anybody you resonate with and you want to reach out to for readings or whatever. And I guess that's about it, except, guys, would y'all like to say goodnight?
Good
Good night.
Night,
Thank you.
everybody. Good night.
Good night, everyone.